Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick butt show called Stephen Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Less than a week from now, we've got, look at that, we got a hype train going on. Less than a week from now, over on here on the Twitch, we will, next Tuesday is a big turning point in this country on this planet Earth.
Yep.
And it could be a heavy time for a lot of people. Anxieties might be running high. Mm-hmm. So we've decided to indulge those anxieties and all get together as friendos to celebrate election night. So we're going to be playing some video games. We're going to be bringing it. We're going to have some election results coming in.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games. We're going to try to keep it lighthearted.
Yes.
Either celebrate with us, drown in misery with us, but you'll be with us to get through it together. And so we're going to be playing some video games. We're going to be hanging out, live streaming. But in order to keep it a positive environment in our Twitch chat, we will be switching our live chat over to follow for a day only. So
a day or longer, a
day or longer. Not
we don't want any troublemakers coming in our chat and causing issues with people.
So we're still gonna have mods. It's just gonna make it they're doing it this way. So by all means, go follow us at the Twitch if you want to hang out with us on election night. If you want to shoot the shit, if you will, and you want to participate in the group chat, have some fun, throw some jokes out there.
But again, as when it comes to anything that we do, we just ask one thing: just be cool.
Just be cool. That's all. That's all. We're gonna try to be cool. Y'all just be cool. So go follow us on the Twitch if you want to hang out with us on election night. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
you're committed to it 100%. Now you're into it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of still a game time.
The
decision.
way you're talking there, you're all in. Stop with the ruse.
I'm making sure I'm doing my due diligence just in case. I'm preparing. Just in case I do decide to go through the election stream. But you guys will find out that one that night. Anyways, AEW Dynamite last night.
Oh, man, fun show.
More matches set up for Full Gear.
Yeah.
We have finally, because I'm using it for the thumbnail, Jericho versus MJF at Full Gear. If MJF wins, he gets to join the Inner Circle. But there is one small catch. Next week, Ortiz and Sammy Guevara, two people who are completely opposed to MJF joining said Inner Circle, will be taking on MJF and Wardlow to soften them up, to maybe swing things their way. Mm-hmm. I thought the town hall was a little long, but I thought it was pretty damn entertaining.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of quibbles about Dynamite. Last night, I thought from top to bottom it was a really solid show. They did something different with a match we'd seen before, Orange Cassidy versus Cody. Usually I'm not a fan of lumberjack matches. This one was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm glad they just didn't copy paste their previous match. And I do appreciate that it's a completely different title scene. Like if the TNT title was branded a tad more generically, this title really is on par with their world title. To be honest with you, it's kind of a more interesting title scene anyways. They treat the world title like it's a bigger deal simply by virtue of it main eventing things. But by far, I think the more entertaining title scene, I really loved how that match finished up. I don't know if they're going to change the card to give Orange Cassidy, given what happened this week, if he's going to remain in that title scene or if this is it for him. I'd love to see him inserted into that match with Cody and Darby Allin. I think he deserves it.
Well, you got Brody Lee looming in the shadows, if you will, because I'm sure John Silver's involvement in that match tonight was because Brody Lee wants to destroy Cody to get that belt back.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. The thing that I really like about that title scene is that there are a lot of stories crossing over. There's a lot of parties involved in it, and you really don't know what's gonna come out of it in the end. If it's a straight up one-on-one match with Cody and Darby Allin, I suspect Darby Allin might actually be the person to take that title off Cody. They're at least setting it up to be a chaotic enough affair that if you get Best Friends and Orange Cassidy involved at Full Gear with that, if you get, you got the whole Nightmare family, you got the Dark Order, anything can happen. Anything. So
Asian Mur brings up, and I forgot to note this while watching the show, but I remember them saying that Orange is facing John Silver in the buy-in.
Okay. All right. I'm glad that John Silver has made such an impression on the fans and management enough to get something like that, a match like that. So that's cool, right?
Yep.
That's cool. So I guess that match is going to be a straight up one-on-one.
Yeah. So in both the tournament matches last night, Page versus Wardlow, and then of course Kenny versus Penta, spectacular.
Oh yeah,
really good bouts.
Good stuff. Yeah, Kenny's character work is a lot of fun.
Oh man, yeah, he's not quite full cleaner, but he's getting there.
I do like. I mean, you had mentioned that sort of he's doing like a meta cleaner thing where he's sort of taunting the people who want him to be the cleaner, but by being kind of a souped up version of the cleaner. Like the cleaner was like your cool, calm sort of assassin guy.
Well, he's basically the movie Cobra.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this is sort of a bit more obnoxious version of that. And I think it works really, really well. There wasn't anything that really stood out to me the only thing that really stood out to me, and it's like we got a really good match, so it doesn't matter, but like, they had a women's championship match that wasn't their championship. Yeah. It was a fun match. I really enjoyed the match between Serena Deeb and Leyla Hirsch.
Yeah.
It was a showcase match for two people who I know Serena Deeb is signed with AEW, but
it's interesting that of late the NWA Women's Championship has probably maybe gotten more shine on AEW than AEW's Women's Championship.
Oh, it has. There's no probably or maybe about it. It has. They need to get. I'm hoping that at Full Gear, things sort of get back on track with their women's division. It's not. They really don't give it much attention at all. I mean, Sheeta got an interview tonight to confirm that she's got a match with Nyla Rose. But that's my only complaint. I mean, we got, I don't know what, at least two just absolutely fantastic matches last night on NXT. So I get my fill of women's wrestling just in another place. If AEW wants to compete on that level, then they could. They've got really great talent there.
They got to step up their game, though.
They do need they need to carve out dedicated time to that division if they want to get there.
And come up with stories and decent creative that motivates matches.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're able to do that with everybody else. Everybody else has that. It kicked off with an MJF interview where he's asked by Dasha, so what would happen if Wardlow wins and becomes AEW champion? MJF says, whoa. Well, if he becomes world champion, I become world champion because he works for me. His property becomes my property. Wardlow just sort of looks at him and says, yeah, you got it. And then does the most obvious, conspicuous eye roll as soon as MJF looks away. So that was fun. I really like that they're using this kind of stuff to give Wardlow added dimensions. I mean, that's the thing about AEW they do really well, Larson, is they're able to add these layers to people who maybe in other organizations would be one-dimensional.
And here's the thing, too, is they more often than not do it in fairly efficient ways. This isn't Wardlow going and have another promo talking crap about MJF behind his back. It takes one kind of, in an eye roll to get across everything he really needs to say. So after that, Sammy walks in. He goes up to MJF, says, I'm not your buddy. I'm going to make sure you never join Inner Circle. Wardlow steps up to him. MJF's like, no, that's fine. Go get ready for your match. And MJF says, I'm going to give you some advice. So your beat down to Matt Hardy was pretty good last week. Your promo, don't.
Yeah.
As in, don't talk.
Yeah, your promo's terrible. Yeah.
And then Sammy's, kind of gets upset. And MJF's like, whoa, the guy who looks like he sells Adderall to high schoolers is going to get
That's a
upset
good
with me.
line. That's a really good line, yeah.
And then towards the end of it, Sammy says, I'm thinking about all sorts of things. And did you get a commercial in the middle of this?
Sure did. I got 5 seconds of a drug commercial, I think it was.
Yeah, so I don't know what it was. And then MJF backs off, and then he goes with Wardlow down the ring for his tourney match.
Did you watch it? Oh, yeah, obviously you didn't watch it live.
No.
Yeah, I just watched on my DVR.
Same.
I got like that little ad, so I don't really know what happened. But anyways, Wardlow makes his way down to the ring for his match against Hangman Page. This is a really fun match. Kind of figures, it's Hangman trying to chip away at Wardlow's size and power. Wardlow, there's a great spot. Wardlow spears Hangman through a barricade.
Yeah, that was good.
It's just, for the 10 minutes, it's just like power move on Hangman. Gets like a gut wrench for 2. Goes for a choke slam up top, and as he is straying away from his game plan, and he's doing this up, thumbs down stuff, Hangman, comparatively a veteran, is able to get the armbar on, draping over the rope. At that point, Wardlow is kind of hurt. He starts selling the arm. He starts to panic, goes for a high-risk maneuver, a senton from the top, misses that. Hangman clotheslines him to the outside, gets a moonsault onto the floor, goes for a buckshot lariat. Wardlow counters with a wristlock lariat. He hits an F10, but Hangman rolls right out of the ring. Up top, Wardlow sets up for a choke slam, like a big, the top rope choke slam.
I think he's going to go like for an F10 off the top, is what it looks like.
Oh, is that what he's going for? I thought,
so.
He was going to do that, but then he did this to his throat.
Yeah, I think so.
Hangman sort of countered with like a fall away slam from the top.
That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then this was great. He had to do 2 buckshot lariats. The first one got him down to 1 knee, and a second one for 3. So they really sold Wardlow's size and power.
Yeah, they did a really good job of establishing Wardlow. That even though he got beat, it wasn't like it's not an embarrassing defeat for Wardlow.
Yeah, it was clean, but yeah, he really, Hangman really had to give him everything he had. Yeah.
Like Page as a singles wrestler, he's so dang good now.
He's got so much urgency to his in-ring work.
I know. And this was especially the 2 buckshots he hit to win.
Yeah.
Those were stiff.
You
heard meat slapping meat on those, man.
They replayed the second one like 4 times, and it was a great looking. Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, he just to advance the story of him having to turn it up a bit to beat Wardlow. He lays in those buckshots pretty stiff. It's really effective. Great stuff. Page cracks open a beer after the bout. Has a drink or 2. We go to a Mox video package. He talks about defending the AEW title with everything he has to make it #1 prize in the sport.
Number 1.
He says it's all been business so far, but at Full Gear it's personal. He says he's going to weaponize that AEW title. There's no room for this Eddie Kingston and Mox's AEW. He said AEW is a place for those who do the work. They get the opportunities. Eddie's got no one else to blame. He'll have to say the words "I quit." Mox says, I'm going to do what I've done to everybody else who's run their mouth around here. I crush windpipes, and I crush egos. Hey, Eddie, protect your neck.
Mm-hmm. After that...
when Mox keeps it short and he has a point, he could be good.
Yeah, it's half the time he gets... I don't know. I'm sort of hot and cold on him. Sometimes he totally grabs me, and this time I was like, all right. I don't know. When I look around, I see a setting. Okay, he's working out. Yeah, just put the camera over there. And then he rants for a little while.
This seemed more focused than some of his previous rants. Like half the time when he's out in the desert, you can just tell he's wandering around shooting a bunch of stuff, and they cut it together.
Yeah.
This actually seemed like he sat down, like, all right, but say this. There was like an approach, a plan, something, a message he was trying to get across. And I thought he did it all right.
So after that, we had Eddie Kingston versus Matt Sydal. Eddie Kingston came out. He was all wet on the front of his T-shirt for some reason. He doesn't have any hair, so I don't know why he's pouring a bunch of water on him.
He's back there doing those resistance bands.
Oh, you think it was sweat?
Maybe. I'll also be.
Maybe
sometimes just
I didn't see any vascularity.
I'll tell you, man.
Anyways, so wet Eddie Kingston comes out, drops a promo, tells the camera, he shoos a cameraman out of the ring.
That was great.
Says since the world
You don't
champion.
belong here. This isn't your. You haven't trained.
Yeah, this is my world. Get out of here. He's not really quite adept at what wrestling on TV, national TV is all about. Got to have the cameraman in the ring with you. Anyways, he says since the world champion isn't there, he's going to take on the guy who tried to steal his thunder in the casino battle royal, the Joker. Sydal, Matt Sydal. He says, remember, I was never eliminated. Hi, Lance. And then you see Archer and Jake Roberts up there in the crowd. That was great. So anyways, we get that match. Kingston's trying to bully and brawl and strike with Sydal. Sydal's trying to chip away at him with his crazy cool moves and athleticism and stuff. In the end, Sydal hit a really cool Meteora for 2, a crucifix pin for 2. And then at that point, Kingston came alive, just hits a bunch of strong style strikes. And then Kingston chokes out Sydal the same way Mox does.
The bulldog choke, yeah.
Yeah, and he won't let go even after he passes out. And then the bunny comes in, puts the mic to him and says, say I quit, Mox! And then he just sort of lets him go. And
Sydal says, I quit, and lets him go. Mm-hmm. And then he says, Mox, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love Eddie's spinning back fist. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
And considering he's got his back to his opponent and actually has a good amount of force behind it, it's impressive. At least the 2 times I've seen him do it, both times it connects like right at the neck area.
Yeah, it's a move that always free. Ever since I've seen Asuka concuss Bailey twice with it, freaks me out.
Yeah. After that, we had an FTR Young Bucks interview. So first, Matt Jackson's asked about his injury status. Excalibur says he's got a sprained ankle and something else. Matt says he's fine. You think a baby injury would keep me from this dream match? No. Excalibur, Nick is mumbling stuff under his breath to counter whatever Matt is saying.
Yeah, Matt talks a lot in this, and Nick just, like you said, he just sort of mumbles
his way through some things under his breath, and then FTR is asked, why would they jeopardize this dream match? Dak says, I'm not afraid of any backlash. This is a dream match, but I'm not worried about dream matches. I'm worried about being champions. Whoever wins at Full Gear cements their legacy as the best tag team in the world. And then again, the Young Bucks are asked about their changed attitude of late. Matt says he and Nick think of themselves as good people, but sometimes good people do bad things. They're not proud of what's gone down, but they don't regret it because they've been missing an edge. And the moment FTR started messing with their livelihoods and their friends, their killer instinct came back. And Cash kind of pipes in and says, all right, that's enough for you guys. You're going to ask the champ what we have to say? And then they just storm out. They leave. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then Nick says they have more to lose. And then he says, because Matt thought of this crazy stipulation. And Matt says, we've always bet on ourselves. We taught ourselves how to wrestle. We're self-made men, essentially, is what he said. And he says, because of that, at Full Gear, they're putting it all on the line, not their careers, just a future opportunity at the tag titles. So if they don't win, they'll never challenge for the tag titles again. So it's pretty much what Cody did against Jericho.
Yeah.
However, this way, I feel like it's going to go the other way. Young Bucks are going to win this.
Yeah, because you can't do that with both. That was the first thing I thought of was, well, this isn't that out of line because Cody just did it. Not just did it. It was
about a year ago,
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still it's pretty fresh. Yeah. So
it would have been something else if they had actually said, if we can't beat FTR, we have no business being in this business. And if we can't win, that's telegraphing the finish, but still.
Well, the thing is, the thing that I like about it, the thing that I don't like about it is that it is too reminiscent of the Cody thing. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. What I do like about it is that I kind of feel like it doesn't telegraph it because of what we saw.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said the other thing.
No. I said if they had put their careers on the line, it would be telegraphed.
Oh, that would be for sure.
Whereas
the thing
this doesn't as much. The only thing that might telegraph it is because they just did the same thing a year ago and Cody lost.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm falling on this in terms of how I think it's going to go down. I think I'm with you. I think that the Young Bucks are going to win here, which still seems weird to me, unless they think, hey, we've come up with some cool scenarios that we could have used with Cody to get back into the title scene, which we didn't have to use because of the TNT title. Maybe they'll go the same route. Maybe they'll do a thing where they'll lose, but FTR won't like how it went down, maybe, and feel like they still have something to prove and the Young Bucks won't fight them unless that stipulation is lifted. I mean, you would think it telegraphs the Young Bucks winning, but maybe that's what they want us to think, and it's going to go down a different way, and they have a story idea lined up to get them back into it.
It's entirely possible.
So, yeah.
After that, Inner Circle Town Hall, hosted by Tony Schiavone and Dasha. Jericho Inner Circle, save for Jake Hager. He's got a Bellator fight this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They enter first with MJF. This is all pretty fun. It didn't really overstay its welcome. It got to the point where it was maybe getting there, but it really didn't, I didn't think, at least. Luchasaurus has the first question. He takes kind of the long road to ask MJF, how can you contribute to the earning potential of Inner Circle? MJF comes prepared with chart. He shows chart with Inner Circle's earning pre and post MJF, of course, after he joins, earnings through the roof. After that, Britt Baker and Reba. Reba is putting over Jericho in his smile.
Well, it was from the Trump town hall. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
The lady comes up and she's like,
Yeah.
You have such a nice smile.
Yeah. So Britt says, I love MJF, but he got a terrible track record with friendships. And Jericho says, hey, I'm no dipshit. Thankfully, MJF doesn't know anything about their Inner Circle's trade secrets, their deepest mysteries. And if he turns on them, he'll kick his teeth down his throat. MJF says, hey, I would never turn on you. We all got in this business for two things, money and titles. And with MJF, he'll be getting a lot of green and a lot of gold. Peter Avalon next shoots his shot. He asked to join Inner Circle. He's laughed off.
He lost, in his dark match. It was a really good match, too, against Brandon Cutler. So Cutler's got one solid win.
He's got one dub.
AEW.
Next, Eric B. from Cody, Wyoming, comes in. He's back. He's better than ever. Eric Bischoff back on AEW television.
And nobody spoiled it this time. Tino.
Actually, spoilers for this whole episode were up on Reddit like 5 days ago.
Oh, were they?
But I didn't hear about the Bischoff thing until like yesterday, I think.
Wait a second. What? This wasn't live?
No. They taped this last week.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. They just wanted, I guess they were saving people travel.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
They do a live one.
I didn't know they were doing. Oh, okay. Okay. Is that how they're doing it?
At least for this they did, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Right
on. Because that's how we knew the Abaddon situation where she got elbowed in the throat.
That's right. I thought that was
Conti.
I thought that was a match on Dark, and that's why she wasn't going to be there this week.
That was for Dynamite.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They
Interesting.
pulled the match because it sounded like a scary situation.
Well, there you go.
So anyways, Bischoff's up. He has a question, a three-parter. First, he asks MJF, what can you do for the Inner Circle? And MJF just says, friendship. And then next, Bischoff asks MJF what the Inner Circle could do for him. And in the course of that question, Bischoff says, you're almost the complete package. And MJF says, well, you almost got it right, Eric B. I am the total package. But if there is one dent in my armor, I may not be the best team player, but I believe after joining Inner Circle, I can learn how to be. Finally, Bischoff calls Jericho a prima donna. This makes Jericho upset. He takes issue with it. Tony yells at him to shut up. So Bischoff can finish his question.
Yeah, what was that a reference to?
I'm guessing just like Trump interrupting the whole first debate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, because Biden did say, would you shut up, man?
No. But that's probably what the moderator in that first debate wanted to say.
No, Biden did say that.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, he said, would you shut up, man?
So Bischoff continues and says, since MJF, you possess many of those same characteristics, what's keeping the two of you from just killing each other? MJF says, well, hold on. I'm a good person. I came out here as a sign of respect. And Jericho goes, but yeah, I want to know why we shouldn't think you're just going to stab us in the back. And MJF asks Jericho what exactly he hasn't done and then to earn his respect or his trust. And Jericho says, well, you haven't beaten me. But we're going to give you a chance. Full gear. If MJF wins, he's in the Inner Circle. So MJF tells Jericho he'll do whatever it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ortiz gets in his face, tells him to shut his mouth. Says he and Sammy don't want him in the inner circle. Says Santana's on the fence. Hager's training for a fight. I don't know what he thinks. But he says, you don't have a shot at getting in with us because next week is Sammy and Ortiz versus MJF and Wardlow. And he says MJF isn't even making it to the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
We got some combustible elements going on here.
Yeah, I don't know why MJF wants into the inner circle when 2 out of the 5 members don't want him in.
I don't think he really wants to be in the inner circle. I think he wants to destroy the inner circle as it exists now to reconstitute it in his image.
Yeah, that's going to be a killer match though at Full Gear. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
After that, we got Team Taz trying to recruit Will Hobbs. Basically, they think Hobbs is money. There was they showed like a little recap of him on
it was
Dark.
almost like Technique by Taz, but as a recruitment video instead of critique.
Yeah. So after that, we had Orange Cassidy versus Cody for the TNT title. Again, yeah, this is a lumberjack match. A lot of fun. They did a bit where OC's on the apron, Orange Cassidy's on the apron, and he falls off, but he's caught by like the best friends who like lift him back up. Same thing, the reverse happens. Cody falls into their arms. They just let him drop. He gets pissed off about that. So Trent decks him after he gets back into the ring. They did a really great superplex from the top to everybody on the outside move. Let's see here. So at one point, Orange Cassidy's really revving up. He hits the diving headbutt. Was it headbutt or DDT? I thought he said
DDT.
Yeah, DDT. I don't know if I put headbutt there. Then like an air raid crash for 2. The Dark Order run in, and while the ref is dealing with Silver. No,
I think it's
Silver.
5.
Yeah, 5. John Silver runs over and gives a pump kick to Orange Cassidy, who then falls into the ropes, and Arn Anderson decks Orange Cassidy, and then Cody comes over, hits Crossroads for
What's up,
3.
Arn? Arn gets mad whenever Cody cuts any corners and starts doing push-ups. And then he comes over and clocks Orange Cassidy. What's the deal, Enforcer? Not Stevie Bradley, Arn Anderson.
I think he just wanted this thing to be done with. I think it was too much for him. I think it was stressing out the Enforcer too much that he just wanted it to be done with because there's just too many people out there. It's like dealing with Waffle House at lunch hour. So then immediately, I like this because it's just pure chaos. Immediately when the 3 count happens, everybody just gets in there and starts brawling. Dark Order, the gun guys, gun club, or whatever.
Best friends, Hybrid 2.
Yeah,
Jurassic Express.
We got to see a Famouser. That was cool.
And then it's Gun Club that stands tall in the ring, and they make a point of saying this. Commentary does, because Cody's kind of like watching everything unfold. And when Gun Club clears the rings, I think Cody did this. Ooh, like he was impressed.
No, that was cool. Also, Cody's reaction afterwards was interesting because he immediately runs up and gets his belt and starts leaving, and then he turns around and sees all the chaos, and it was like he. I don't know. It was a great reaction. It was a bit ambiguous, but it was like oh my God, look at all this stuff. One? Yeah, I think so. Like, holy crap. And look at everything that's going on now. I'm just happy to have gotten out alive. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I really liked it. I thought it was just really chaotic and hectic, and it felt alive, It was really cool.
It didn't feel as formulaic as some previous like in a WWE lumberjack match. If you get tossed to the heel side, they're all just going to beat you up. And they built to that action ringside as opposed to just doing it immediately, which I kind of liked.
Yeah. And it just felt like whenever things feel, sometimes anarchy and chaos can feel fabricated, and this felt natural, felt organic.
Because it built to that point,
And then meanwhile, Darby Allin was just hanging out in the stands like he always
seats,
does. Yeah.
After that, we got Best Friends and Miro and Kip backstage. So Kip and Miro, they go up to Best Friend and say, "Hey, we feel bad. We forgive you for wrecking the gaming cabinet." What was it called? Alan?
Alan.
They call it. And said, "We have a present for you." So they give it to him. They hand him something. Penelope rolls up and just says, "Trick or treat." And then Miro and Kip then proceed to beat the hell out of the Best Friends. Miro says he'll never forgive them. And then Kip takes his present back, unwraps it, and it's the Alan joystick board. And he says, like, Alan lives forever or lives on or something like that.
After that, we had Serena Deeb versus Leyla Hirsch.
It's a fun match.
Was a really, really fun match, man. Leyla Hirsch is going to be something else, man. So Serena Deeb cuts a promo just about sort of being NWA Women's Champion and respect and how she's going to show people how to do respect. Started off with a lot of technical wrestling. I think that's Leyla Hirsch's sort of wheelhouse is the mat-based wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Deeb gets the advantage. She starts working over the neck. She hits like a hanging neck breaker over the rope.
Man, she was destroying Leyla Hirsch's neck.
There's
whole match.
Later on, there was like 2 neck breakers in a row. There's like a swinging one and just like a regular one.
Like a swinging one, like a really stiff Rude Awakening type one.
Yeah. So anyway, Serena Deeb ends up tapping out Leyla Hirsch with like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like,
it's like a half crab, but you get the arm
on the other side of it. It's like as opposed to the normal side, and then also there was like some arms involved.
Yeah.
It was really
it's got a name. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, they didn't say what it was because here I just have written down with like a half crab, but on the different side, but also with an arm or some shit. So yeah, and then she ended up Leyla Hirsch tapped out. Really cool stuff.
That was a fun match.
The actual AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida, had an interview, and she's told by Marvez that number 1 contender Nyla Rose, she doesn't want to wrestle until she gets confirmed a title match for Shida's title. Shida gets on the mic, says, "You want me? I want you at Full Gear." So that match is confirmed.
Yep. Going down at Full Gear I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, should be good.
Should be good. After that, we have Shawn Spears versus VSK. Me telling you what the match was longer than what the match was.
It's already
Bell
done.
rings.
It's already done.
Bell rings. Spears hits a C4, covers him for the win, and then he's kind of celebrating. Someone ringside is talking trash to him. There's people dressed up for the Halloween sitting ringside. This particular individual has like a bull mask on. So Spears goes over there, puts them in the ring. He asks Tully for the steel slug to put in the glove. It's Scorpio Sky under the mask. Tully tells Spears, "Hey, you should turn around." He does. He eats a TKO from Scorpio Sky, and then Scorpio Sky kind of scares off Tully too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen at.
Nope, it's happening next week, Steve. They announced it. Miro versus Trent next week. Spears versus Scorpio Sky next week. Cody and the Gun Club taking on Dark Order next week, and then Mox and Eddie will have a face-to-face.
Cool. I fast forward to that stuff. I like to be.
They had a long extended thing of Full Gear matches. So I was
Full Gear, and then next week, and I was like,
paying
okay.
attention to the Full Gear stuff. I was like, I know, I'm going to watch this show. Oh, there's matches happening next week. I should make note of this.
Yeah. And then we had our main event. Kenneth Omega versus Pentagon Jr. Penta El Cero Miro. The cleaner girls never fail to make me laugh because like their dance is so half-assed and like they have these expressions on their face like they barely want to be there.
So good. And they had the masks on.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, they had Penta masks on.
And like Kenny's reaction to the women dancing too is, I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to read it. You know what I mean? There's like a certain level of disinterest, which I'm sure it's his own entrance, which he, even in kayfabe, orchestrated.
It's
because like he was standing there waiting around like kind of, okay, come on, for them to put the brooms to cross so he can walk under it.
He crafted it, but he's unimpressed by it.
Something like that,
But
yes.
he wants other people to be impressed by it.
Yes. Because like even the game show music, him standing behind that screen and he's standing there and he's not like rigid and tough looking. He's kind of fidgety, you know?
Yeah,
he's back there like he can't stand still.
It's hilarious. So he comes out, he's got like one of his cheesy gaming shirts on, like a Street Fighter shirt on. So he comes out and so Kenny and Pentagon are standing there having a face off.
What Kenny's doing, he's wearing the house show shirt. He's treating this like a house show match.
Yeah. And so he starts to lift up his shirt and the Mega Championship is on underneath because Phoenix is out there too with his brother. And so he looks over at Phoenix and he's like, look what I got. So he won it off of him. They're going to have a rematch in December at Triple Mania.
No, it's the Laredo Kid that's challenging for the Mega title.
Okay. It's not Phoenix.
That's what
Okay.
I read, at least.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. So yeah, Kenny's like taunting Phoenix with it, and then he taunts Pentagon with it. He puts it in between them. So then they decide to have a chop off. Man, Kenny had nothing on Pentagon's first chop. That chop was so loud. That was fantastic. Kenny slaps Pentagon with his glove after he had taken it off.
He demands satisfaction.
Yeah. JR said, "What are those in France?" So Kenny asked for a chop, but instead he swerves him with a kick and then starts stomping him. This was a really, really fun match. There was like,
it was a blast.
5 V triggers involved throughout it. It was really, one of them. He hits like a power bomb and then a V trigger immediately afterwards, and then a second V trigger and then a third, but it was against like it was to the back of Pentagon's head
in the corner,
up against the turnbuckle. That looked really, really cool.
Got a destroyer spot on the stage. Kenny kicked out of a package pile driver. It took 3 one-winged angels attempt for Kenny to finally hit it. It was a lot of fun. I want to go back and watch their all-in match. I haven't seen it since we were there live.
That was such a damn entertaining match.
Yeah, man. I could watch these two wrestle, fight forever.
You can tell they really enjoy it
and never get bored of it.
Yeah, you can tell they really enjoy wrestling each other.
So Kenny picked up the win after hitting the one-winged angel finally. Kenny's really got this great arrogant thing going on right now. He's cocky as all hell. He had another one of the extended introductions from Justin Roberts. This time, not so much focusing on actual accolades, but people's opinion of him. People call him a groundbreaker, like most important wrestler in the world. And towards the end, he says he has a high school friend who lives in North Carolina. So for the second week in a row, they've made a reference to North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny stuff. So, anyways, there's your show. Let's open the floor to some questions. I've got a thing here on there it is. All right, view.
Alex C says the world title feels locked up to 2 or 3 guys, but it feels like anyone could get that TNT title. Yeah, it feels a bit more wide open. The TNT.
It does. No, it totally does. And the opposite is said about the
but
world
not
title.
in like a 24/7 division type thing.
It's we ask each whenever the title's up on the line, like last week, or like did he just get that title back so that Orange Cassidy would take it off him? It is entirely likely. Up until the last moments of that match, you think, okay, this could actually happen. And I like that. I like that about the title scene. I mean, that's how it was. I hate to reference the Attitude Era because everybody seems to do it and then people complain about it. But like the WWF World Title scene back in the Attitude Era, Stone Cold had it for when he won it in '98. He didn't have it like for.
He had till the summer. He lost it that summer.
To Kane. Kane was the first guy to take it off him, and it was pretty shortly afterwards. Yeah, it was just that summer.
His longest single reign was during the Invasion storyline.
Yeah, and there was so much talent back then, and that title naturally changed hands. I mean, comparatively speaking to today, a lot.
Tons.
Yeah. Patrick Leva here in Twitch chat says, on Twitter, Kenny has complained how AEW promoted his matches, so maybe AEW came up with the entrance and he's unimpressed with that. That is entirely possible, and that's a great that could very well be.
That's a good point. Dex Guns, why did AEW have Wardlow promos before he joined MJF, yet he is working for MJF? I'm sure when he first signed, because they had that one vignette where he was in the parking lot and he and his date were about to get attacked and he fends them all off. They maybe ran that once or twice. Obviously, they had some plans for him, went back to the drawing board, came up with this thing with MJF, and went forward with that, which I think was a good idea. I think him as MJF's heavy has been really good.
You can kayfabe that with like one sentence. You know, AEW didn't offer him enough, and MJF did. You know, it's something like that. Like I sometimes they try to fill the gaps in. This is not a complaint, but they go like, for example, Bunny being with the Butcher and the Blade again. You know, they explained that one like she was just basically, milking him for money. You know, they said to last night, you know, after she ran up all of QT Marshall's credit cards, she's back with with the Butcher and the Blade. I mean, you don't really need to say that. We don't really need the full explanation. You can just sort of assume. I actually liked when Kingston said, "Hey, you need to get your house right." You know, everybody assumes, oh, he's talking about his wife, you know, the bunny, and then you can assume, you know, they got
his house right.
They were back on track. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can allude to it.
Yeah. Captain Sin with the sub. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Zach Droll, do you think AEW might swerve us and we see Hangman win over Kenny? I'm not going to bet on that. I'm not going to put any confidence points on that one. I'll put probably a bunch on Kenny winning because, you know, Mox is the ultimate good guy, and right now Kenny's the ultimate bad guy. And I think that is a feud that people wouldn't mind seeing revisited. And I think that I think it's time. Kenny needs to have that title. I think. It's time.
I think that's all. I mean, if they, here's the thing, if we were having these shows in front of full arenas, I would say it's the 50-50 shot who wins that match, whether it be Page or Omega. Since we're not in that situation currently, I feel like, because whenever Page finally wins that title, they want to have that in front of fans. That is a moment that needs to be in front of people, because I think the arena would, like, the crowd would blow the roof off the arena. That'd be such a huge deal. So I think they're going to wait on that. That's one reason. Two, just the arc of the story. It makes more sense for Page to lose this, take 6-8 months, maybe a year, to rebuild himself as a singles wrestler and then take the title off Kenny. I mean, that's just the way the story's going right now.
One question I would love to ask. One day you and I are going to sack up and try to get some press credentials to AEW because I know we can get them.
Yeah.
And I would love to ask Tony Khan or any of the EVPs, are any storylines or plans altered or changed in any way to wait for fans to be in attendance?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't shock me if you're right. Would not shock me at all. But I also don't know if how much of a priority that is to them that they would wait for that to happen. I think
if it's a situation where obviously this is an open-ended deal here, like they're not going to wait 2 years to have that moment, obviously. But if there's this, maybe, and this is speculation, if they're at a bit of a crossroads here, well, like we could do it now, or we maybe extend the story out a bit, build up Page even more. So by the point he comes back around to face Omega, it's basically undeniable at that point, you know? So like when Stone Cold faced HBK at WrestleMania, there was no doubt in your mind who's going to win the match unless Shawn Michaels decided he wasn't going to drop the belt that night.
Yeah.
At that point, Stone Cold was undeniable. He was going to win that match.
Mm-hmm.
If you take your time and really build Page up to that extent, which I think they can, over the next 6, 8, 12 months, then when he wins, it's going to be huge. It's just going to be a massive thing.
If he had been at, let's say that things got really like way worse with this pandemic, and he's at that breaking point, and we're still forced into the capacity situation we're at now, I don't know. I'm curious to know if somebody's at critical junction, if somebody is at that breaking point, do you pull the trigger with or without fans? Because I think you're right. I think the visual of him winning that in front of fans is huge. But
him in the middle of the ring with that belt and 15,000 people all offering him a beer.
No, I know. But I am kind of curious if that is on their minds at all at this stage.
I don't know.
It's a question that I think is a good one.
Yeah. Ed Fry says they're going to be a non-finish DQ or time limit draw to save this and let FTR keep the titles. I think a time limit thing would be more realistic. AEW does not really do DQs, especially at pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Time limit, if it's a 60-minute time limit, I mean, like Full Gear, the card's already pretty packed. I don't know if they'd want to put an hour-long match in the middle of it.
If it was any of those matches, This will probably main event.
Well, it could.
Look at the flip. Like, you got the world championship, which typically does.
Yeah.
But it's Eddie Kingston.
I know.
Like, you're going to have that main event. Like, if I'll put it this way. That should main event if Kenny wins earlier and he confronts Mox at the end in a flip to Double or Nothing, the first Double or Nothing.
Yes, totally.
That being said,
possible, yes.
The Young Bucks versus FTR has been built for literally, 5 years? Something like that?
Yeah.
I could, but then ending on a draw, I think is possible. But 60 minutes, you're right, is a long time.
Yeah, especially, if that match main events, the tag match does, then you got to think the Young Bucks win.
Right? But, they're also assholes now.
I know.
It's not exactly
but they're
let's
less
go home
assholes than
happy
FTR
moment.
is.
Yeah.
FTRs are more assholes than the Young Bucks are at this juncture. The Young Bucks are just like teenagers acting out because they're not getting their way. That's what that feels like.
They haven't really engendered the kind of sympathy or the kind of relatability that would warrant a big triumphant win at this point. At least in the case of a draw, they haven't lost. So
they're not going to. I just don't feel like they're going to have the main event end at a draw. That's just
me neither. There doesn't seem to be a lot of okay, if the Young Bucks win, are fans going to be super happy about that? Are they going to be oh wow, great, they won? They've been super kicking Tony Schiavone and people,
But here's a reason why Kingston and Mox should main event. Granted, it's just being billed as an I Quit match, but if they go all out for it and basically do a lights out thing and just make it brutal, I think that would justify it main eventing. And if you have Eddie Kingston main eventing AEW pay-per-view, even in a loss, that's huge for him in terms of elevating his star.
Well, yeah, his star has already been elevated pretty hardcore. I think that Kenny showing up afterwards is enough to main event for that to main event for sure. But yeah, Young Bucks versus FTR, that's a big deal. It's a big deal match.
It is.
I don't know how they do that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the Young Bucks going down the route they went, unless they want to try to do a turn where they out heel FTR and FTR all of a sudden engenders our sympathy. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it does. You do need to sort of do that. You have to have, one team that's inherently good and one team that's inherently bad for this to matter more.
Well, didn't you hear what Matt Jackson said? He thinks they're good people.
Well, every bad guy should think that they're good people. I'm sure FTR should think they're good people too.
Vermillion, MJF wants to join the inner circle, but it seems everyone in the inner circle besides Jericho doesn't want MJF in. So why is Jericho even entertaining the idea of MJF joining if he's just going to piss off the guys that have been with him since the start of AEW?
He is deluding himself into thinking that he has full and total confidence. He has their full and total confidence.
I think he sees a little bit of himself in MJF too.
I like it because I think his character is torn. I think his character, and I think he spelled it all out. It's man, he does see a little bit of him, and that scares him, but also intrigues him.
Yep. What else we got here?
Nicholas Price, would you rather see Silver and Reynolds as tag team champions or Silver and Brody Lee? I'm sorry,
Silver.
I'm sorry, Reynolds. I'd rather see Reynolds. I'd rather see Silver and Brody Lee as tag champs.
Here's the thing: from a character perspective, you're right.
Yeah,
Silver and Reynolds are a really good tag team. They're
I don't
really
care about
good.
That. There's a lot of good tag teams. I want to see Brody Lee and John Silver as tag champs. That'd be great.
Trios titles: Brody, Silver, and Reynolds. Everybody's happy then.
I'm not.
Dex Guns did Miro and Kip named the arcade machine Allen for Alan Jones.
If it was anybody actually related to AJ Styles, I'd say maybe.
Oh, the numbers are in. Oh, wow.
Really not.
Halloween Havoc worked out for NXT.
Oh, yeah?
White Brownie has the numbers here. He says AEW 12th in the demo, the .32 was 781,000. NXT was 21st in the demo, yet they got 876,000.
Wow.
So a win for NXT last night.
All right, guys, here's the thing. Here's the deal. Halloween Havoc every single week.
Zondo says, would it have been better for a Page had a harder tournament angle if Kenny had got a bye or have a short non-match because of Phoenix's injury? So essentially, Omega would have cruised to the finals, have a short match, get a Sunny Kiss, and then effectively getting a bye in the semis. No, because I feel like just as much as Kenny is treating these matches like they're gimmies for him, I think we still need to see Kenny putting on really good matches and winning those matches. Because it's not just that he wins matches, it's that he puts on the best matches and wins them. We need that reminder.
Yeah, I was curious if they were going to continue that thread from last week. I'm glad they didn't. I'd rather just see a really cool match.
Exactly. And that being said, it wasn't like it was, a 35, 40 minute, slugfest between he and Penta. It was a hard fought 12, 15 minute match,
Let's see here. Let's see here. Dero Hayes. After the past few weeks of Jericho and MJF, we know they're making MJF a big star, but you see AEW turning Jericho face and MJF as the new leader of the Inner Circle. Kind of. That would not shock me at all. I think that might end up happening.
Yeah, it could be that MJF already has Ortiz, Santana, and MJF or Sammy in his pocket.
I would love it to be everybody but Sammy that turns on Jericho. And I think that you could make the case that that would be logical because, Santana, Ortiz, hired hands. Hager, hired hands. Sammy could be one, but I think that he might be the one guy who is, diehard loyal to Jericho. And I would love to see him be the guy on the outside looking in and turn him face as well.
Yeah, I think the thing about Sammy's always kind of looked at Jericho as a mentor, and I felt like that relationship was reciprocated on the part of Jericho as well.
Yeah,
but You're right about like Hager, Santana, Ortiz, hired hands. But what has being in the Inner Circle really got Santana and Ortiz? They're spinning their wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
Dark Dank Lucha power rank 3 things Lucha Brothers could be doing in WWE NXT currently that is better than jobbing constantly to the Elite.
3 things they could be doing in NXT instead of jobbing to the Elite. I don't know. NXT doesn't really, they don't really do really well. They'd be better served on main roster where the tag teams are slightly treated better, kind of.
Well, they'd for sure be broken up after like 3 months of being tag team.
They'd have already been broken up.
They'd feud with each other.
Yeah. And no, I'll say this, man. I think that Santana and Ortiz might have been served better going to NXT, maybe. They probably would have been served even better going to New Japan, though. I don't think that for a second about the Lucha Bros. I don't think that for a second. I think that like half their moveset wouldn't even be allowed in WWE.
You got that right.
So, no, I'm good.
A Peachy Tree has an interesting question. With Matt's hair getting longer and him rocking one dangly cross earring, how soon does Matt go full Shawn Michaels and kick Nick through a window and goes on a single run?
I don't think it's ever going to happen. They've said it in and out of kayfabe that's never going to happen. So I take him at their word. I think that'd be a terrible idea. I think that, Nick needs Matt. I think Matt needs Nick. I think they need each other. I really do.
They complement each other so well.
They do.
Gareth Nicholas, legit. Leyla Hirsch was a huge surprise last night. Very fun to watch. Would have been unreasonable for her to take the win last night. Would her debut have to be more meaningful against an AEW wrestler? Well, see, it was an NWA title match. She probably wouldn't have got the win in any scenario.
Yeah, she's still very new to the scene. She's gotten a lot of buzz, but it's not like a debut of somebody who would warrant a big title change. This was a feature match. This is, a showcase match for her. Okay, we've already talked about that. Let me head over to the Discord and see
the Natural asks, would you rather see Kenny help FTR beat the Bucks or see the Bucks help Kenny beat Hangman? And which fallout would be better?
Would you rather see Kenny help FTR beat the Bucks or the Bucks
help Kenny beat Hangman? I kind of feel like as fractured as the Elite is currently, we're not going to see any crossover at Full Gear.
None of it sounds good. None of it seems like it would fit. It would be like, wait, what? That's out of left field. I mean, one thing about AEW, for the most part, they like for things to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, there's an on-screen reason why this person is doing this to that person, even if sometimes it might feel a little bit forced. Like, even they got Miro and Kip in this thing with the best friends. Do I think it's goofy that they're fighting over a video game? Yeah, but they set it up so that it makes sense that they're fighting, even if it is over something as goofy as a video game or Trent's mom's car.
Yeah.
They like things to have a through line.
They tend to keep things pretty simple as far as motivation for stuff.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but they want to show it. Yeah. Dr. Steve Winters, I got a new job. Congratulations, Dr. Steve.
Congratulations.
He says, also, with Serena Deeb now holding the NWA title, would it not be logical to have her feud with Shida? I don't know how that's going to go down. Like the NWA women's title now that Serena Deeb has it, 'cause she signed with AEW.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to have a champion versus champion thing, I guess that would be if you want to, merge the titles, which I don't know if that's something they want to do.
Yeah, I have no idea what Billy Corgan's thinking.
We kind of talked about this earlier. Asian Murr, what's the chances that MJF wins, then post-match he kicks Jericho out of the inner circle? I think at this juncture, it is you got to take that into consideration as a possible outcome.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if they do it right after the match, like at Full Gear, but that'd certainly be a pretty cool. That'd be a pretty neat angle to run.
Mm-hmm. White Brownie, does Shida drop the title to Nyla at Full Gear, or will Britt be the one to get it off her?
I think Britt takes it off Shida. I think that's what you do. And Shive asked, do you think Full Gear could be the best AEW pay-per-view to date?
The card's really good.
It's a really good card. It's got potential. All the cards have potential, but then you get something like what happened last time.
Flats, out of everyone not currently in a faction in AEW, who needs to start their own?
Oh, they don't need any more factions. No more factions. We're good on factions for now. Jimmy Thomas, would AEW be better off trying a partnership with Impact so they can use their women and Impact could use the men? AEW has women to use. Women's division to use. They have competitors that they could implement into stories, and they have not done that. So, no, they don't need more. They need to use what they have.
Patrick Oliva says the NXT UK title match is about to start.
Ooh.
Time to wrap the show up. Asian Murr has a question here. Says, with the year and some change in Dynamite happening, what are some matches you wish they would have done already? Do we ever get Pac versus like Penta? I don't think so.
No, because they
had a match and then they had a
forces.
faction. Because that'd be one I really want to see.
That would be a really cool match. Twitch chat, if you want to stick around for a bit, we will hang out. Otherwise, everybody else, thank you for.
Steve gets NXT UK up.
I'm starting already over here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later. I want to see some chops, man. I want to see some chops.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson.